demand and aggregate supply. No. Yes. Will not. Now, when you hear the word aggregate, as far as economics is concerned, aggregate means the big picture. All of it. All right, so we're not talking about demand in a market. Here we're talking about demand for the entire economy. All demand. Okay? Aggregate demand, that's what it means. Aggregate demand. Aggregate demand is defined as total demand for GDP as a function of price level. Now what that means in simple English, here's a graph showing the different curves. Yes. Yes, I will. Yeah. It plots total demand for GDP as a function of price level. Now, what I mean by all that is, here's GDP, this is output of the economy. Up here is price level. Price level means simply the price of everything, okay? So, this is aggregate demand, the blue curve you see here. AD for aggregate demand. Okay, so it's downward sloping like demand curves have to be. You know, they have to comply with the law of demand. It's downward sloping, and it varies. When quantity is high, price is low. They're inversely related, just like they were in the market. Just like they are in the market. Same difference. Just like you and I operate. When price is low, we tend to buy more. Well, that's true in an economy as well. When price is low, when price level is low, when prices of everything is low, consumers tend to purchase more. And that increases GDP, total output. Okay? So there you have it. Now, it's downward sloping because a change in price level changes the purchasing power of money. Purchasing power of money. When price level is low, when things are inexpensive, not cheap, but inexpensive, then, you know, GDP tends to grow because we spend more money. We're willing and able to purchase more. Yes? No, not yet. Haven't got there. Haven't got to the factors yet. When we talk about factors, we're talking about what are the factors, what are the variables that will cause that curve to shift to the right, indicating an increase, or to the left, indicating a decrease. Okay? Price, when price level changes, that's just movement along the curve. Remember Davy's trap?
Yes.
Very similar, only now we're talking larger scale, okay? Larger scale. So, all right, now, let's talk about the factors that will cause that curve to actually shift. There are basically 4 of them, for those of you keeping track. There are 4 things that will cause that curve to shift to the right or left. The first one is the amount of money in circulation, which we call money supply. We call that money supply. That's the amount of money in circulation. And how we control that is through what we call monetary policy. And we have an entire chapter. Chapter 13, please. Chapter 13 is totally devoted to monetary policy. Monetary policy, yes. Yeah, it's the first factor is money supply, change in money supply. A change in the amount of money in circulation. All right? And we use monetary policy to control that. All right? But, you know, that's all I want to say about monetary policy, because we got a whole chapter coming up about monetary policy. Okay, now, if you increase the amount of money in circulation, if you increase the amount of money, that's going to cause that curve to shift to the right. At any price level, because there's more money out there, we're going to
Store
demand more.
that plant
Aggregate
across
demand is
Walmart.
going to increase, which is going to
Like
increase
Kohl's, where
GDP.
every year they open up.
It's going to cause the output of the economy to increase because there's more money out there.
You know where that place is? Like
There's more money. What we are doing right now, right this moment as we speak, is the administration is allowing more money in circulation.
It's like
They're putting more money out there. They're making it cheaper to borrow. You know, the cost of borrowing money is going down, interest. But not only that, they're printing more at the same time. So that causes the
Jesse, have to
demand curve to shift to the right. At any price level, the consumers within the economy are going to spend more. When they spend more, that's going to increase GDP. Increase output. Make sense?
Why don't you put it closer to?
Hopefully it's going to work, you know. Hopefully it's going to work. All right, another factor that changes the supply curve, the aggregate demand curve, is taxes. A change in taxes, an increase or a decrease. If we increase taxes, you're going to have less money to spend because you got to pay Uncle Sam first. You know, he gets his fair share first. And what's left over, which is what we call disposable income, that's what you have left over to spend. If we increase taxes, you're going to have less money to spend. So that's going to cause the curve to shift to the right, a decrease. Causes aggregate demand to shift to the left, excuse me. My right, your left. Got it? In other words, GDP is going to decline because of higher taxes. If we lower taxes, then that's going to cause the curve to shift to the right, because lowering taxes mean we have more money to spend on ourselves. And we will. We will. We'll spend it. So that's going to cause it to shift to the right. There is a big debate going on right now in Congress about the Bush tax cuts. Should they allow them to expire on 31 December, or should they go ahead and extend them, or maybe modify them? Right now, the argument is, and Obama's position is, he wants to extend the tax cuts, except for those people making $250,000 or more income. You know, in other words, the rich. If you're rich, you're going to have to pay more taxes. If you're not rich, if you're middle class or poor, then you're going to pay less. Because, you're not going to pay anything more or less because it's not going to change. All right? The current tax level will remain the same, which is the same thing as basically saying it's a decrease in taxes for them. Yes?
So what if we, instead of kept the same, would decrease ours, but increase, keep the idea of increasing the riches?
Yeah. Well, most economists say that the economy would grow because an increase in taxes causes the curve to shift left. A decrease in taxes for the majority, and we are the majority, would shift the curve to the right, meaning at any price level, GDP is going to grow at any level. So there's